Okay, great. Recording is started. All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Marie-Louise Balolou. I'm the Associate Program Director for Global and Experiential Education. I have the pleasure of being with you guys today. Unfortunately, we couldn't host a session in person because of the weather. So I hope you all are all very cozy and warm at home. But luckily, that would allow everybody to attend and then for a better recording. So in this session, we will cover some of all of our course offerings that we'll have in the summer. So I will do a brief overview of the application details, timeline, what type of programs are available, how do you find information, where do you find information, and then I'll pass it on to our three faculty members who are here with us tonight. Professor Debass will present on the Business and Society Artificial Intelligence course. Professor Levy will present on the business advocacy and lobbying on Capitol Hill. And then Professor Weiner will present on the STAP UK Business and the State in London. And then I will close by giving you information on each one of our partner-led programs. We have 5 of them. And then we will open it up for a Q&A. Okay, so what is a short-term study away programs? For those of you who are new students who are perhaps not familiar with the acronym STAP, these programs are academic off-campus courses that you can take for credit. They're in a condensed format, so that means they don't span the entire semester. You'll see, like our business and society courses, there's 4 days of full-day in-person engagement. Our STAPs would have a week-long or 7 to 10 days in-country engagement plus a few campus sessions. But you can expect all of the material to basically be condensed rather than being spread throughout a given semester. These courses count towards your general elective credit. So if you have, elective credit space in your MBA program, MSIB program, and all of these degree programs, these courses will fit really well into your degree plan. If you're enrolled in a program like the MSF program or MSBA, you'll probably need some type of special approval to count them, but there are possibilities to of course, participate in these programs. But there's a possibility that it won't count into your degree, the elective coursework if you don't have elective coursework as part of your degree program. What are the type of short-term study away programs that we offer? In terms of structure, we have a few options, right? Business and society courses are focused on the DMV area. So these are local courses. You won't be traveling outside of the DMV area. Course duration about 2 weeks long. So you'll have a couple of virtual sessions before, and then you'll have an in-person engagement where you're here in DC from like a Wednesday through a Saturday. It's 4 full days where you're engaging with people in the DMV area. Some of those courses do include visits to Capitol Hill and other government agencies because these courses target the relationship between business and government, specifically in the district. So these programs are taught by a GWC faculty. You'll have a couple of 1 or 2 virtual sessions before that in-person engagement. So if you're outside of the DMV area, you'll need to, have lodging for those 4 days. If you live within the DMV area, then you basically just come to basically meet at a certain point, regardless of where that point is in the district. These courses are 3 credits. And then they have, of course, they vary in terms of topics. So this year we have AI and our business advocacy courses. Depending on the year, typically those topics will change. These courses do not have an application, so you just enroll through GWeb once course registration opens in the summer. Now, faculty-led programs are similar to business and society because they're taught by one of our GWSB faculty. In terms of duration, they're a little bit longer, so you can expect about 6 to 8 weeks, again, depending on the program. And it basically, that's like the total duration, including the travel portion. The travel portion typically doesn't exceed 10 days of a broad engagement. You should have about 2 to 6 pre and post travel sessions. So you might have, let's say, 2 to 3 sessions before your in-country travel, and then perhaps 1 session, final presentation, wrap up once you return. These courses are all 3 credits. There's two types of STAPs. You can either have a business immersion course where it is on the topic, you go in the country, you meet with specific stakeholders related to that given topic, or global business project, which is more consulting based, where you'll be working in teams with your peers on a specific topic for an organization, a real organization that has a real problem. And your final deliverable will basically be presenting your recommendation to that challenge directly to the partner in country. So these programs do require competitive applications. They're open to all GW graduate and undergraduate students at the university. Now, the last type of STAP are partner-led programs, which are in duration, we're talking about summer, anywhere between 2 weeks and 6 weeks. So that's kind of like the time you'll be spending abroad. So the majority of the programs are about 2 weeks long, although some programs are a week, but usually they're about 2 weeks. And then the longest one is 6 weeks. These programs are entirely run and developed by our partner institutions. So we kind of like hand students over to the partners, and then the partners basically, manage everything. You take classes in their facilities, they grade you and everything, and then we just transfer the credit. So you have possibility of getting anywhere between 1.5 and 6 credits. These are very immersive cultural experiences because you're on the ground, you are within the institution, you are engaging with their students, with their faculty in country, and you're also, of course, engaging with the local community. So it allows you to, there's actually a really big network with our partner-led programs because, for example, GWSB has 20 partners around the world. A partner like IPADE in Mexico City has 300 partners around the world. And each one of those 300 has spots for a program that they would offer. So that gives you kind of like an idea of how many schools, how many business schools are represented in our partner-led programs. So these also require a competitive application. They're only open to graduate business students. So if you're a graduate student coming from CCAS or Elliott School, you won't be eligible for these. If you're an undergraduate student, you won't be eligible unless you're a 4+1 student and you basically finish your bachelor's program and you graduate in May. So basically by summer, you'll basically be considered a graduate student. Timeline. So for the summer break of 2026, applications will be due Thursday, February 12th at 11:59. You can expect a decision on all the programs you've applied for, of course, except Business and Society, on Friday, February 20th. And you will have until the 26th of February to commit to the program of your choice. So if you want to commit to 2 programs, again, depending on the dates, you'll basically have to let us know by that date. And then your program travel will occur anytime. The earliest program starts, I think, May 6th through the 17th. That's with WHU. The latest program, CBS, runs until early August. So where can you go? Here is the list of destinations that we have for the summer. And sort of this is what you can expect to, these are the programs that you'll be considering and applying for. So how can you learn more about a program other than this information session? So here I have a, hopefully it works. There it is. Okay. So each program has a brochure like this, like you see on the screen. And you can basically read about the program. There's some details right there. This is, for example, CBS. They'll highlight all of the dates that of the program. You'll have an idea of what they offer in terms of subject matter, program materials. They typically always have a brochure that you can get more information on, housing, visas, etc. I also have information about the host institution. You can read about what type of institution they are, their rankings, etc. There's some additional information, social program, activities, etc. And then the calendar, and then some additional info sessions that I'll be hosting here at GW that you can sign up for. In the second tab, if you go back up, in the second tab, program details, you'll see the eligibility requirements for the program of your choice. You want to read that to make sure that you qualify for the program. You want to read the academic credit section to see how those credits will be applied to your degree program. And look at the cost sheet. I have a really detailed cost sheet at the bottom of each brochure. You want to make sure to read over the different line items, look over the withdrawal and refund policy so you're aware of all of our policies before you engage into, before you commit to a program, a given program. And last, or the third tab, you'll just more information on the application process, our different policies, and the timeline. And then the last tab will have location, accommodation, health, and travel logistical points. You basically look at the brochures and gather information. And then you saw, as you see here, there's an apply now button on each tab. So once you're done reviewing the information, hit the apply now button. And then that will lead you to this. Allow me to play the video, which it doesn't. Okay, great, perfect. Well, just so how to apply, you want to go to our website, which I've shown you earlier. And you want to basically, let me see if I can get this little video here to play. Okay, it will not play. But either way, once you get to the brochure, you scroll, you click apply, you'll see a window that takes you to the GW Passport system. You want to make sure to log in GW Passport with your user ID. Do not enter your full email ending in @gw.edu because it will open a non-GW user application. And our partner-led programs, non-GW students are not allowed to apply. So that means it will disappear, you won't see it, and you will think that you're not eligible for it, but that's not true. So you need to make sure to use your net ID, which is the first half of your email before the @ sign in order to log in properly. And once you're logged in, you can enter the term is summer, just click summer, and then it will open the application for you. And then you can go through the motions of filling out the different items. Okay, so first off, our Business and Society course series. So just some general information on these courses before I pass it over to Professor Debass. These are graduate level courses, SMPP 6218. No application is needed, as I mentioned before. You will be enrolling on your own in GWeb. There's a letter grade that will impact your GPA. So this is, it's not a transfer course. It will count towards your summer 2026 load, and the syllabus and itinerary will be provided by the faculty here. In terms of finances, you'll see you'll have a 3 credit of tuition charge that will be due first day of summer session 1. No program fee for Business and Society courses. They're all, again, domestic. Your out-of-pocket costs will be, of course, your MetroCard fare, because that's how you're going to be going around the DMV area. And then if you're coming from the outside of the area, you'll need to arrange lodging for those 4 days. Now, without further ado, I'm going to pass the torch to Professor Debass, who will tell us about the artificial intelligence course.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. As just Marie mentioned, that one of the classes that GW offers over the summer is the Business and Society AI class, Artificial Intelligence. So, of course, this is, I think, my 3rd or 4th year I've been teaching it. And let me see once you have it on the, can you go back? What am I seeing? Yes, right here.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so no problem. So the class, as I briefly mentioned, it's structured in a kind of an interesting way because the entire class essentially ends in about 6 days, 5, 6 days. We start on a weekend on Sunday, the June 8th. We have kind of a long class, but it's structured in a way to introduce what we're about to cover and the kind of projects we're going to work on. And then from Wednesday to Saturday, it's a full day, 9 to 5. In some cases, even on one of the days we stay a little longer. We might have a reception, just kind of a social one to bring everybody together. The class is about AI, but it's not a technical class. It's not helping you, know how to code or how to engage with AI. Even though we kind of cover some of the tools that are available, but it's more to do with the impact of artificial intelligence, as the name entails, on business and society, its implication for the future. It's really very focused around thinking about what the future holds. It's a very strategic foresight course with the application of AI, meaning the implication of AI to how businesses are run, how business models are changing, how business strategies have to change, and also, the conversations that the world is having right now on its impact on jobs, on productivity, and what have you. So it is one of my favorite classes that I teach, because every year is different, because the sector is shifting and is very dynamic. It changed in a significant way. The framework might stay the same, but the courses that we talk, I mean, the startups we talk about, or the solutions that are coming up we talk about, are changing. Um, so, so that's essentially what the way the class is structured. As you can see in these photos, I want to highlight the Waymo car. As you see here, Waymo is an AI company wholly owned by Google or Alphabet. It's an autonomous car that is it's like a ride-sharing company, but the cars have no drivers. It's actually, this is, I think, a year ago or 2 years ago, Waymo was introducing its services in DC. So we had an opportunity to actually, the CMO is a friend of mine. They brought in the car to campus. The students were able to get into it and test it and what have you. So it's a very experiential learning class where not only we talk about it in lectures in the classroom, but it is also a class where we've attended the eight, whenever the timing coincides. Last year, the AWS's AI Summit was the same week as our class. So on one of the days, we actually spent an afternoon at the summit, hearing talks and looking at demos and things like that. We also had an opportunity to visit the AWS's Amazon's headquarters in Arlington. We've had an opportunity also in the past, visiting the Hill Congress, talking about talking to staffers about the legislative landscape on AI. So these are just examples of the type of things we'll do. We won't know the full kind of what kind of visits we'll make, but what I can tell you, it will include a hands-on experiences, going to talking, visiting companies, AI companies, maybe conferences. Even last year we did something unique. We actually hold our own half-a-day summit, an AI summit that we hosted at GW, not only for our students, but the kind of the GW community, to bring in speakers and talking about, the business and society implications of AI. So exciting class. We also kind of give you hacks and AI tools, and things that you might not be exposed to, just showing you kind of how to utilize AI. So a very ambitious, about 4 days, but it's intense. But by the Saturday, you're done with the course. So you feel it might sound overwhelming, but an overwhelming in a good way, because you get to learn a lot, you get to interact, and as Marie mentioned, the class kind of attracts a very diverse set of students, including obviously our global MBA students, our executive MBA students, our online MBA students, and also just graduate students who are studying other things. I've had students from the chemistry department, or studying, maybe healthcare. So it's essentially, it runs the gamut. So I highly recommend it. I'm biased to it, obviously, but it's a class that you're done in 5 days, despite the fact it's being full day, but you'll be done with the class. So that's that. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but I don't know, Marie, if I've forgotten anything else.
No, you covered everything. And again, you don't have to know like the technical side of AI to be successful in the course. Thomas is going to be covering like the business application of AI. So I mean, if you know how to make an IR tool, then great, but you don't have to know that as well. So we have about 3 minutes. So does anyone have any questions about the artificial intelligence course?
Yeah, I probably have to sign off. I'm overseas, so if anybody has
Oh,
questions, I'm
yes.
happy to answer them. So, in case.
Thank you for joining. Tomas is joining us from France, so we're going to let him log off early so he can get some sleep. So any questions for Tomas? I can't see if anybody raises their hand. Okay. So, all right. So I don't think there's any questions,
All right.
but you, I
And I'm
think,
happy, like, if you have any, I know some of you might get questions, you might have other questions afterwards. My email is debass@gwu.edu, I think, and happy to, and
thank
also
you.
just, you can ask your questions to Marie. She knows how to get in touch with me. Happy to answer questions that you have. I hopefully I'll see you in class, but you also have other amazing offerings as part of this offering. So anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you, Tomas. All right. So his email is on the slide here, but of course, always feel free to reach out to us at sbintl@gw.edu, and then we'll reach out to him. And of course, I can answer a lot of these questions as well. All right. So we're going to be moving on to our next presenter, who is going to tell us about the business advocacy and lobbying on Capitol Hill.
Thanks so much, Marie. Hi, everyone. My name is Stuart Levy. I'm a faculty member in the management department. I've been here for almost 20 years and started to teach this course last year. Excited to offer it again. It's business advocacy and lobbying on Capitol Hill. Over the years, I've offered a lot of study abroad courses, but this is one not only in our backyard. I just checked on Google Maps. We're about 3 miles away from Capitol Hill. So super easy to get to, but it is almost like a tourism experience, an entirely different world. So a little bit about the course. It is focused on advocacy and business government relations. As managers become leaders, as you work your way up in your career, you're actually going to be most likely doing more and more interaction with government, through advocacy, working with associations, because strong business government relations are really crucial for industry leaders as they navigate complex regulations and manage risks, and in kind of the out of control world it feels like we're progressing, and it's even more important to deal with things that are out of control of the particular company or even industry, and that deals with political risks. But in any case, it's an important leadership area and leadership skill. We are once again partnering with the Exhibition and Conferences Alliance Coalition. A little bit about the ECA. They're a coalition of leading associations, I believe 9 associations, that comprise the public policy voice in business and professional events industry. They represent all aspects of trade shows and exhibitions, event organizers, venues like the convention centers, suppliers, and partners. And even though we're looking at the business events field and working with the ECA, it's really industry agnostic. Associations and alliances work the same way no matter what trade association, what industry association they're part of. So whatever you're learning in this course is going to be relevant to any industry or any area that you're interested in. The highlight of the course, I know for myself and for previous students, has been attending the fly-in day. And this is often done for trade associations where leaders fly in from all over the states, mainly, but beyond the states, to come and lobby our representatives in Congress, in Senate, on the House, as to the priorities for that industry association. The cool thing is we'll have a full day there. We'll be having a policy breakfast, reviewing what we're going to be going to the Hill on at a hotel that's right next to Capitol Hill. Then you will split up in and be placed with generally about like 6 to 10 industry leaders and lobbyists to go ahead and actually lobby to our representatives. And we do that so everyone has an immersive experience and is able to network and isn't necessarily bunched up with other students during that day. There'll be about 140 attendees if it's based on last year, maybe even more. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to both network as well as to learn about this process. Trying to move forward one slide. Thank you. So every year, the policy agenda changes based upon the needs from industry. Some of the issues are the same or each year, some do change. For example, trade and tariffs was a significant issue last year, as they continue to be. I'm sure no shock to you all. International travel. So some of that deals with inbound travel, being able to get to the US for business events. Tax issues, workforce development. This is one that our students did focus on because they were really able to speak to it from the university student perspective, the importance of workforce development policies that are beneficial for the industry to recruit new professionals, sustainability, as well as the operating environment. So we'll dig into the detail in our initial class and classes as to what these policies consist of, just like anyone that's going to go lobbying on the Hill. And then I'll share with you a little bit about the schedule. So if we can move forward a slide. Okay, so here, as you may have seen, if you checked out the draft syllabus, there's two main deliverables. One is both crafting and delivering your advocacy message. So this is your pitch. This is your story and your authentic story as it relates to the policies that we want to influence in Congress. We'll be practicing with the help of some experts in government relations and them giving guidance as to the best ways to really connect with your representatives. We could be talking with senators or House members, oftentimes their staff, which is just as valuable, but along with the other members that we're going to advocate with, we are working together to really get our point across for them to support the types of policies that we would like them to. So that's the real core of the project, is going on the Hill and being able to credibly make your pitch. The other thing, and I consider this to be kind of a 2-in-1 course, is that you will be working on a consulting project. The head of the ECA is a GW alum, and he loved our project last year. We'll be doing something similar, in that we're going to be evaluating this fly-in day, the full day that we're there for the legislative fly-in, for the action day. And we're going to be using a multi-method way of evaluating, in this case, the attendee experience. I've done this in a number of study abroad courses as well as my current courses here at GW, where we use everything from participant observation while we're on the Hill to interviewing some of the attendees. We'll be looking at some social media monitoring and analysis as well. And we'll then, at the end of the day, be able to deliver through the consulting project a really good grounded analysis and set of recommendations based on how the ECA can improve future advocacy days. So you'll be becoming more sensitive to what are the elements of the attendee or customer experience, as well as hitting upon and learning about business government relations and how to deliver that message. We can go forward. So here we have a video. Marie, I don't know if you have that one loaded. I also have one on my computer too, if Oh, it looks like you have it there. Great.
I have it here.
Okay.
If it's going to play. Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
There we go.
Professional events industry brings people together. Advocacy, both in industry from by speaking directly to elected officials. The power of advocating, moral weapon alone. Single proud, CIT. Exhibitions and company times.
Marie, just to let you know, it's really hard to hear, and I imagine other folks are having that as well.
Okay. You said you can't hear anything?
It was very blurred. I don't know if anyone that's listening could confirm if they could hear it well or not.
No, it was really bad. It was like gibberish.
Yeah. So I figured save 3 minutes of your life, where maybe we won't watch it for now, but maybe you can get a little bit of a taste of the industry leaders that are attending and kind of the vibe of that day, the Legislative Action Day. So maybe you can move to the next slide.
I can pop the link in the chat so you guys can watch it.
Perfect. That's great.
Sorry about that. Whoopsie. Yeah.
So the course is cross-listed with SMPP, Strategic Management Public Policy, 6218, along with management, which is the department that I'm in, and that's a consulting processes class. So you can register through either course when registration opens up. The first 2 classes are going to be online. We'll have Tommy Goodwin, who you just saw for a second in that film. He's the head of the ECA. He'll be giving a little bit of background, both in terms of the organization as well as the policy issues. We'll be talking about the course project and getting everyone prepared for our in-person work. And then we will, Thursday is kind of the big day. I mentioned the policy breakfast, going to the Hill, and then a networking event afterwards. But surrounding those dates, we will have both industry leaders as well as lobbying experts either come into our classroom or we'll be going to visit them as well. And then we'll be working on later on Friday, and a bit on Saturday on the presentation for Tommy and the ECA, deliver that Saturday afternoon. And as Tomas had mentioned, when the course is done, it's done. So we really pack a punch within the 4 days in person, the 2 virtual dates as well, to really give you a good grounding in the topic, business government relations, the action and the skill of advocacy, as well as the foundation in evaluating customer experiences. So that may have been over my time.
No, you're actually right on time.
Oh, terrific. So you have my email as well, the slevy@gw.edu if you have questions or if there's anything that's outstanding. Now I'm happy to answer anything you may have.
Any questions for Stuart?
And just to correct that email, it's SLE.
I'm sorry.
VY.
SLE.
Yeah, slevy@gw.edu.
Yes.
And as Tomas had said, I hope, if it's my program, I'd be delighted to have you. If it's any of the programs that you're just are taking advantage of the opportunities that Marie and Global Experiential Education are giving, I wish I was a student again to take advantage of these courses. Thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so don't forget, you can pop questions in the chat if you have any, and then we'll address them towards the end. Apologies in advance. If there's anything, if you start, if you can't hear anything, or if one of the videos is acting up, please do just drop a message in the chat, because the file is quite heavy. So it's been causing some issues here. So just so you know. Okay, so Moving along to our faculty-led STAP program. So these are programs that are faculty-led abroad programs. And so before I pass it over to Professor Weiner, just some general notes. These are open to graduate and undergraduate students at GW. You'll get a letter grade that will impact your GPA. Course registration for the summer begins March 2026. So once the registrar's office opens the system, you can't register on your own, but it's good to know because that's at the date. If you've been accepted into the course, that's when you can expect to be registered by GNEE into the course. Blackboard page will open April 1st, and Professor Weiner will share the syllabus and itinerary. And then in terms of the billing, of course, you'll see the 3-credit tuition charge that will be due the first day of summer session 1. And the program fee currently estimated at $1,850. This is an estimate, so it could be higher or lower than this. I always try to get these fees lower, but just want to have full disclosure there, which will cover double occupancy at a hotel, in-country transit, and then some of your meals. So the out-of-pocket expenses will be your round-trip flight, personal meals, airport transfer, and international data. So without further ado, Rob, it is all yours.
Can people hear me okay?
Yes, at least I can.
Okay. So I first want to mention that I've gone on this program several times, and I have the person who went with me, Hugh Vo, here. And I'll try to leave a couple minutes at the end in case you would like to speak. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so it's business and the state. So it is about the relationship between the public sector and the private sector. In the United States, it has a specific form. And I think you heard from Professor Levy an example. If you're interested in the exhibitions industry in the United States, great. That's one particular example of a form, but the interaction between business and government takes place in different ways in different countries. One reason to go to the UK, it's a similar enough country to the US that it encounters similar challenges, similar social, political, and economic challenges, and yet its organization of business and government is very different. In general, this is a very diverse group of students who takes this course. This course is cross-listed in the Columbian School through the Trachtenberg School. The only thing that we ask is people have a basic background in economics, and here on the slide are some examples of economics courses around the university that provide enough background. Unlike the previous business societies, once we come back from the UK, the course is not over. And in fact, it would be kind of disappointing is after you've spent a week sort of bonding with your fellow students in abroad, both in classes and then outside, if you never saw them again. So we come back for student presentations a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after the program is over. We also have some meetings on campus so that we have the ideas in the class before we go. This class is related to a lot of concepts in our master's programs. We go for 1 week at the end of June. London differs from Washington in that in June, the high temperature is 22 C instead of being so hot that dogs are sticking to the sidewalk like they are in Washington. And also the sun doesn't set until 9:20, which kind of gives a more lighter festive air to that time of year. Can we, Marie, can we give the next slide?
Yes. Give it a second. There we go.
Okay. So okay, wait, let's stop there. Okay, so business and the state program is unique because there's a sister course on campus that's cross-listed with the Trachtenberg School and with the Elliott School, typical on-campus class that goes into a lot of the theory and examples, especially in the United States, with guest speakers from Washington, and integrates with our other courses so that it's not just going and taking pictures of Big Ben or the pyramid. So you get a lot of the intellectual aspects. This is the longest running study abroad. There have been over 250 students have graduated from this program. Marie, can you give the next couple of bullet points?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so started by our former dean and Lord Sharman, a member of the House of Lords, 2001. And we have a bunch of participant blogs. So if you're interested in a student viewpoint, you can get a sense of what previous students have had to say about the course. There are multiple blogs in the brochure that Marie mentioned, so you can get a sense of what's gone on in the past. Okay, can we do another couple bullet points, Marie?
Yes.
Okay, it is neither a consulting abroad program nor is it a study tour. It is basically looking at business and societal aspects and contrasting them between the US and the UK. And we focus on sectors where a lot of GW students traditionally have either worked while studying or gotten jobs after graduating, where public-private issues are important. Not so much things like exhibitions, like in the last presentation, but things like defense, infrastructure. We do a lot of stuff with infrastructure. We do a lot of stuff with public-private partnerships, healthcare, so sort of heavy-duty industries that are very Washington-focused and also very London-focused. As I mentioned before, is the only cross-listed STAP with the, if you're in the School of Public Policy and Public Administration, you can take it through that number. And the idea is that if you're going to study public-private interaction, business school students and students in schools studying the public sector, particularly the Trachtenberg School and the Elliott School, should interact in class as a way to get a sense of what it will be like to interact once you graduate. It does give you sort of a firsthand perspective on the public-private interface. And over the years, that kind of firsthand interaction with students from other schools has been one of the strengths of the course. Marie, can you just let the rest of the slide? We don't do consulting projects in the evening. And in fact, in the evening, we do cultural activities with the idea that if you're going to London, London is one of the most exciting cities in the world, we don't want you spending your evenings working frantically on your consulting presentation. We have some evening activities. We typically have a student alumni gathering where we interact with graduates of GW who are working in London as a networking opportunity. We typically do a cultural activity like a Shakespeare play. And then we also have walking tour of London, but we also make sure that we give you time free so that you can talk about the subjects in the class with people in local pubs and ask them what they think about the role of government. The role of government in the UK is very different from the US. Even the word government means something different in the UK. In the US, government is synonymous with the public sector. In the UK, it definitely is not. And we have in the past gone to Parliament to talk to members of Parliament and members of the House of Commons and House of Lords, which are roughly the equivalent of our legislators. So we get an insider view on politics. And we had lunch with a sort of distinguished former candidate for prime minister. So we have very good connections in the UK. What specific things we'll do will depend on the scheduling this year. We try to do a mix of cultural activities and not just business meetings, but also meetings with government and also meetings with academics. We typically go outside of London for a couple of days, just so you can see that the UK is not just London. And we'll have actually some pictures of that we have a video that was made by students from this course a few years ago, really without my knowledge. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. Can you show the video? If the sound is not, if the sound doesn't work, it's just music anyway. This is the students, so we can cut. If the sound sounds funny, just cut it. Yeah.
Okay. Can somebody give me maybe a thumbs up if the sounds work, and then I'll if not, I'll just cut the sound and then let the video play. No? Okay.
Yeah, you can go without the sound. It's just background music with the students adding.
But everybody can see, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We travel around a lot on the tube, which itself is an example of a public-private partnership. And we give people tube passes, which is a little bit the equivalent of a smart trip that we have. Smart trip in DC. This is the inside of a tube. Seems to be frozen, Marie.
Okay, let me see. Oh, there.
Do we start with a guided tour so we get a sense of the lay of the land? Although London is huge, the area of London that we're in is actually quite walkable, especially with reasonable evening and daytime temperatures there.
Oh,
This shows the alumni reception. The choice of photos in this thing is entirely the students. These are the students outside the Parliament buildings waiting to be admitted and go through security. And this is inside Parliament, where the students were not allowed to take pictures. Nobody is allowed to take pictures, but they fortunately did not get caught taking pictures. We've gone each year to Cambridge to have a lecture from a professor from Cambridge and had some time free to walk around and look at the medieval buildings of Cambridge, one of the oldest university towns in the world. All right, we can stop there, Maria. I think that's back to the student's home base. I think that's enough. Okay, I want to give a chance for Hugh to say something. She would like to add anything that I should have said.
Sorry, I didn't really prepare any speech, but I mean,
Oh, it doesn't have to be formal. Since you've
I
been on
have
the program
been,
twice, you can speak from your experience on being with the group.
yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this video, even though we didn't get the sound, but because this was since in 2015, and I have been helping out the program for the past, this would be the fourth time, so the past 3 years. And Rob, you haven't aged one day, and I didn't say that so that you can give me the job. Um, But yeah, I mean, we always had a great time in London. It's I have not joined a consulting program from GW, so I don't know how hectic or stressed that would be. But for the student in the London program, we had a great time getting to know each other and getting ready before the trip, and then during the trip, everybody also seemed to come prepared to learn, but also to enjoy London. Um, and then, yeah, I think we have a great schedule that people can go on GNE website and have a peek at our previous schedule. And you can see that we have every single day, we have a packed full day of activities with time for lunch and dinner. Um, and I would say everybody came out of the program becoming really close and stay in touch. I know that for myself. So if anyone has any question about the time in London in particular, they're very welcome to ask me or send an email to Rob. And we're happy to help to answer any question to help you decide if if this program is right for you.
And one of the highlights that I want to mention, as Rob said, the students get to go to the UK Parliament, so you get to experience and then speak with members of Parliament who basically have different areas of focus, just like our representatives here. I remember some years ago, one of the representatives was focused on women's health, for example. So depending on your topic of interest, that is always a really interesting experience for students. And then we typically have a lunch, so you'll get to actually have a kind of like a business luncheon with I think they call it a sponsor, one of the members there. So amazing experience. I've gone with Rob once or twice, and the students always had a great experience. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the box, chat box. I'll move on so that we can cover everything and then open it to the Q&A. But feel free to start popping your questions in there. All right, thanks, Rob. Thank you. Whoops. Okay, here we go. All right, so last but not least, our partner-led programs. So partner-led programs are programs that are hosted by our partner school. So we nominate a few of our GW students, and you basically go to these partners and you take classes in their facilities. So these are open to graduate students only, at the GWSP students only. These are transfer courses. So you remember on the other slides, I put this will apply to your GPA, and some of you might have thought, well, obviously. These ones do not apply towards your GPA because these are transfer courses. So you take the course at the partner, and then if you pass the class with a grade of B or better, then you qualify to transfer those credits into your GW degree program. So you'll be registered in a placeholder course called Exchange 0235 just to trigger your tuition and get that on your record. But the course that you're transferring basically is one of the electives. So if you take a class at CVS, for example, for 1.5 credits, you can have that 1.5 credits count towards your IBIS electives. It requires a petition to transfer credit that needs to be signed by your program manager. So you cannot participate in any of these programs without your program manager knowing. Let's see. The syllabus and itinerary will be provided by the partner. I've uploaded all of the information that they sent me on the brochures. So you'll have everything kind of there. And then if there's any updates, they'll send it to you directly. In terms of finances, you'll see the bill of between 1.5 credits to 6 credits, depending on which course you're enrolled in. G&E will cover your insurance and mandatory the mandatory health insurance, and then out of pocket will be the partner fee that each partner will have a fee that I have in the cost sheet for each of the brochure, your round trip flight, lodging, personal meals, transportation, etc. So that will be kind of like your living expenses will be out of pocket. All right, so we have 5 programs in the summer. So the first one is CBS Summer University. CBS is Copenhagen Business School. They're located in Denmark, Copenhagen. They're probably one of our longest standing partners. We have a partnership with them at the undergraduate level. For those of you who've studied abroad, who've been at GW and studied abroad, CBS is one of the offerings for undergrads as well. This program is what I like to call it. Did I put it here? I didn't put it here, but it's an open enrollment like structure. So CBS will have a few courses that you can select. If you, for example, are interested in supply chain management, I think they have supply chain management classes. I've seen students take product development, for example. So depending on your area of interest, if you need a marketing elective or decision science elective, etc., you'll probably find what you need in their course offerings. So they have different formats. They have a two-week condensed courses for 1.5 credits, 3 weeks for 3 credits, and then 6 weeks where you take 2 classes and get 6 credits. So again, they'll share the roster. Actually, I already put the roster, all of the courses available. I already put them on the CBS brochure. So you can actually go in and then see, they already posted all the course offerings. So you can see what courses you will be interested in taking. The overseas dates. So June 19th will be the arrival date. So if you're staying in their dorms, that will be the first day you'll be able to move into your dorm. They'll have orientation activities the 20th to the 22nd, and then all of the courses start on the same day. There's going to be different ending dates depending on which program you're taking. There's no program fee because they're not really organizing anything on your behalf. You're kind of you're basically enrolling in all their courses. They have an optional social program activity if you want to, do a cultural visit of Copenhagen. That's up to you. It's typically pretty low cost. And then they do have housing available. So if you want to apply for housing, that application, actually the information for the application is available on the brochure. All right, next program is the Business of Luxury offered through EDHEC Business School. They're located in Nice in France. They have two campuses. They have another campus in Lille, but this program occurs in Nice. The program is about 2 weeks long, so June 22nd to July 3rd. They have a 2-week, so they're basically the first week is foundations. They'll give you foundations, general information about the luxury sector. And then the second week will be specialization. So you have to pick between fine perfumes, luxury beauty, and then luxury hospitality and ultra luxury. And then depending on which specialization you pick, then that will inform which business visit you go to. Because they have partnerships with, for example, Lancôme, with other, big name in the industry. So that will determine sort of which company visit you'll go to. So this program is a two-step application. So once you submit your application through me, GNEE, I will forward your nomination with GW's endorsement to EDHEC. And then EDHEC has the final say as to whether you'll be admitted into the program or not. So be mindful if you receive an acceptance from my office, it doesn't guarantee you that admission into the EDHEC program. Wait a couple of weeks, submit all their items, and then once they respond with a final confirmation in March, then you can go ahead and book all of your logistics, plane tickets, and et cetera, et cetera. They have a program fee of about 700 euros because I think they organize lunch. They have a couple of cultural activities as well. I think they'll probably, I don't know if they'll have breakfast on the campus, etc. So they have some minor things. So it's 700 euros. 700 euros was $750 last year. Like yesterday when I put this presentation together and I looked it up, 700 euros is $850. So that's not me. That's the US dollar rate. So hopefully it goes down a little bit so that you don't have to spend $800. But that is it for EDHEC. Moving on to ESSEC Business School. They are located right outside of Paris. I think actually this program will occur on their Paris campus, not Cergy-Pontoise. The Global Manager in Europe program is limited to MBA students only. So if you're in an international business program, accountancy, MSBM, you will not be able to be eligible for this program. Only MBA, online MBA, healthcare, accelerated, whatever format of MBA program. It is a 3-week program. They'll have topics on European geopolitics and economics, management skills in Europe, and luxury brand management. The dates will be June 22nd to July 10th. They will organize some activities with you. Like they'll have a couple of company visits. They'll have cultural stuff as well, and they will organize, I think, lunch and breakfast a couple of times as well. So that's where that fee is going to. ESSEC also does have a 2-step application. So again, you apply through me, I nominate you, and then you have to submit basically the same documents to them directly, and then they'll make a final admission decision on your admission. Our 4th program is Global Immersion in Asia. It is organized by our partner in Taipei, National Shengxi University College of Commerce. They have 2 sessions available this year. Last year they didn't have this, but this year they added it. So it's 2 sessions. The first session is from May 17th to 22nd. All of our specialized master's students can participate. So MHRM, accountancy, international business, all of our specialized masters. The second one is MBA only. And that is July 26th to the 31st. So unfortunately, you can't really do either, or you have to pick the one that is suited by your degree, dictated by your degree program. They'll have 8 seminars. I have all of the seminar information on the website, so please go and check. I've actually updated it just yesterday, so please do go check if you've applied for the NCCU program, so you know what seminars apply to which sessions. The first session would be, the program fee for it is $600, and then the second session is $980. I think in that they pay, I think, for one night at the hotel, because they have some type of activity going on. So either way, the cost breakdown and everything is included on the website. Last but not least is our program through WHU. They're located in Wallendar in Germany. They have two campuses, one in Dusseldorf and in Wallendar. Wallendar is their main campus. They have a few sessions available, pretty cool. They have an in-person session. So you can take both, but it's going to be like 6 credits if you take both. Session 1 is from May 6th to the 20th. Session 2 is from May 10th to the 22nd. And then they have an online program for MBA students, which will be from May 3rd or 4th, depending on your time zone, to May 15th to 16th. What does the program cover? European trade integration and the euro, competing in European markets, European aspects of family business, and the business tax environment in Europe. They also have some really big name partnerships with like big banks that are headquartered in Frankfurt, because Wallendar is close. You'll basically fly into the Frankfurt airport, take an hour train ride to Koblenz, and then the campus is not too far from Koblenz. So basically you're going to take, I think, a day trip, I think, to Frankfurt, and then go to some of those visits. They have a program fee of 515 euros, and that would include your transportation, lunch, welcome reception, and farewell dinner, company visits, a local bus ticket, gym, Wi-Fi, library access, and then they also offer housing. That's probably the lowest housing I've seen, because they are located in a smaller town. But it is also a really amazing opportunity. One thing that I would say, I've been to Wallendar. I visited their campus last year before we signed the agreement. And their campus is located in a small town, really quaint, really cute town. It is not far from a big city. So if you're more a city and then you miss a metropole, it's not isolating at all. You have access. You can even stay in the city and then just take the bus ride, 10 minutes to the campus. So it's not isolating at all. All right, so final notes. Let's see. You can apply to all programs of interest. There's no application to apply. So you can, apply to all the programs. You can apply to 2. It is all up to you. If you want, you can rank the applications in GW Passport. If you open more than one application, there's going to be a little icon that will pop up, and it'll ask you, do you want to rank this as number 1 or number 2? And then if you have more than 2, then you can keep ranking them. Applications close at 11:59 on the 12th. That's a Thursday. So remember to submit your application by that time. Any applications after that date won't be counted. So please make sure to submit your applications. Decisions will be shared on the 20th, which is a Friday. So on that Friday, you'll have decisions on all of the applications you applied, all of the programs you applied for. You can be accepted, waitlisted, or denied for a program. And you'll find out all decisions for all the programs on that day. So you'll have, the weekend, and then another few days to decide, and then submit your decision, your $350, submit your decision by committing by the 26th of February. So some tips: take your time on your statement of purpose. Tell us why, this is a unique opportunity, why you'll be a good candidate for the programs. Review cost estimates, right? All these programs do come with additional costs, and we don't want you basically being blindsided by how much you're going to be spending. So review the cost estimates, do your own budget. Of course, these are all estimates, right? Like the flights, I've estimated based on a flight in and out of DC. But if you're flying in and out of Houston, Texas, or Atlanta, like your hometown, you want to basically budget on that itinerary and some other things. You want to own your schedule. So the summer schedule for the university will be released, I believe, in February, maybe March. I don't know. I think February. So you want to make sure that if you're taking summer classes, that there's no overlap between your time abroad, especially if you want to be at CBS for 6 weeks. You don't want to be missing class for 6 weeks, because it's not an excuse to miss classes. So you want to make sure to own your schedule. Research entry requirements for a destination. That is very important. I had students who were signed up for the Germany program last year. Now they have, visa requirements for some nationalities, and they weren't aware, so they weren't able to go. So you always want to make sure, always, 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 even if you're a US citizen, always double check the requirements, because the requirements are going to be changing every day, and you want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. You're going to get some information from me, but you also want to do your research and own that process. And then lastly, if available to you, arrive early, stay a little later. Like the London program is really intensive in that 5 days. You're not going to have a lot of time to go around, visit by yourself. So if you can add, a couple more days, depending on your schedule and your personal funds, I would encourage that way you can sightsee on your own, or you can hang out with family members or friends if you know anybody in London. I have a couple more sessions coming up. These are virtual sessions on Mondays. I typically focus on faculty-led programs. So if you want to learn more logistics, nitty-gritty, feel free to log into those sessions. It's going to be the same material that I'll cover on the 2nd or the 9th, so you don't have to attend every single session. And then I'll focus on partner-led programs on the 5th and 12th, Thursdays. If you have questions about a partner-led program, but you're only available on that Monday, just log in. I'm the same person. I can answer any questions on these programs. So log in, get the information that you need, and then you can jump off. It's not going to be a whole formal session. It's just an open advising session. So keep informed. You can, of course, visit our website. That's how you can see all of our offerings and apply. Business and Society, you'll be able to read all about the different programs, grab a copy of the syllabus, and then you can follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram, or email us at sbintl@gw.edu. On that note, we are done with the presentation. So I'm going to close the slide deck here and then open it up for questions. So feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask away. There's a few questions in the chat. Let's see if my computer is finally going to slow down a little bit. Okay.
Maria, there's one.
Olivia, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to point out one that I saw in the chat for you. There's one for WHU from Michael. He was asking if the students have the options of doing both sessions to combine for total of 6 credits, or if they have to choose between one.
Yes, absolutely. You have the option of combining the sessions. It's actually, in a sense, better, because then it's going to be you're going to be already familiar with all of the cohort. All the students are going to be there, the faculty, and then it's a continuity of the material. So I would encourage it if you have the space and if you have the time to do both sessions. But you can do either one depending on your availability. Okay, I'm cruising through the chat here. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Hugh did CBS last year. She did 6 weeks. So feel free to ask, about her experience there. She feel free to chime in if you have anything to say, but feel free to reach out to her if you want to hear more about the CBS program. I feel like everybody who went to CBS always brags about it. So I would, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, I have my email address in the chat. And I would also say, Copenhagen is a very expensive city. It was one of the most expensive cities to live on earth at the moment. But the very good thing about this program is that you will get to live in the dorm of CBS during the time that their actual official students are out of the semester. They're out for the summer. So we get to live in there at a very shockingly affordable price as compared to what you're paying in DC. So definitely take the opportunity to be in Denmark for the most beautiful 2 months of the year. Yeah. Oh, and then I also saw a question: how long is the London program from beginning to end? I think the first in-person session is May 19.
Is it 29th or 19th? I think it's 29th.
19, I think. May 19, and then we have another. Oh, I'm sorry, May 29. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's the first session is May 29th, which is a Friday. And then the last session is July 17th, which is a Friday.
But after the week in London, we have the week right after London, there's no meeting. So you have that extra week if you choose to stay in Europe or you choose to come back, whatever. But then we'll have just one more session in person after London, to present your projects. And if you are wanting to continue exploring the world for the summer, you don't want to come back to DC, we do ask that you are able to set yourself up on Zoom for the entire session from beginning to end. So as long as you get your Wi-Fi, then you get a quiet place where you can present and participate. We are good with that as well.
And a couple of things I want to put in the chat as well. No.
It doesn't matter who came up.
Sorry. Okay. So here is the video. Here's the video that Professor Levy wanted to share. And then I also want to share Rob's video if I can find it.
So there's also a question about whether a scholarship covers the tuition. And in general, it depends on the nature of the scholarship that you have. The scholarship system is different across schools and programs. In general, your scholarship is, if it's for a certain percentage of your tuition, it should cover the tuition in any of these programs at the same percentage because they're standard courses when it comes to billing. In general, scholarships do not cover the out-of-pocket expenses, and the out-of-pocket expenses are of two types. One is a fee that is added to the term bill, and that's because different programs cover lodging or meals or local transportation or entertainment, so the fee varies. That in general is not covered by most scholarships. The second type of out-of-pocket expense is your own expenses. So if you want to buy a souvenir or something like that, you want to get a stuffed Paddington Bear to remind you of your trip to London, chances are that your scholarship won't cover that. And so if you're thinking about the cost of these programs, you should look at the fee. All the brochures have the fee, in addition to other details, and then you could estimate, for example, how much it costs to get a plane flight to wherever it is that you're going. You'll get a rough idea. If you know where you're going and you definitely and you apply and are admitted, it's good not to wait too long to make your air reservations because prices tend to go up as you get closer to the summer. But you definitely do not want to make reservations until you hear back that you've been admitted to the program and that you've accepted your admission to the program. Some people, when you apply, so I think it's important to realize, even though we said this, when you apply to any program, it is not a commitment. You're applying to a program says you want to be considered, and then depending on how many people apply, some people are admitted and others are not. It's only after you're admitted that you have to make a decision whether you want to accept your admission. If you want to accept your admission, then you say accept, and then you have to pay the deposit. If you decide that you don't want to accept admission, for example, you've applied to more than one program, or you decide you don't want to do the program over the summer, then you just decline your admission. So you don't have any actual commitment of time or money until you've been admitted and accept your admission.
Yeah. So the financial commitment will come, like I mentioned, the deadline for you to deposit and save your spot is February 26th. So basically that's the cutoff time to really, that will lock you in. Otherwise you'll have a penalty. But basically between now and then, you can apply to as many programs as you like. And then as you figure out your schedule. One thing that I would say about financials is that, yes, like Rob said, it depends on your award. So some tuition awards are coded as tuition. So that means they only apply to tuition expenses on your bill. So something like the program fee that we post for faculty-led programs is not coded as tuition, so it won't apply to it. If it's a all-encompassing sort of pay for everything that's on the bill type of award, it will apply. So you really want to check the requirements of your award with the party that awarded it. If it's GW, you can just check, I'm sure, with the Office for Financial Aid. If it's loans, you can use loans to participate in these programs. I've done it as a student when I was doing my fellowship in Dakar, so that I know that will apply. Again, actually, I don't know the rules anymore, but it will, at least it applied for me back in the day. Walter had a question. Can you attend the UK program online before the trip goes? So, basically, if you are outside of the DMV area, so if you're an online student and you're outside of the DMV area, yes, you can join these sessions remote. If you're in the DMV area, you'll be required to come in person unless you have special permission from Professor Weiner.
Yes, in general, before the program, it's important to come in person if you possibly can, because that's the way you get to know the other people in the program, and that makes for a much better experience when we're there. In the past, the only people who have been online before we went abroad are those people who are in online programs who are had somebody based in California, another one in Georgia or North Carolina. But people who are in the DMV are expected to come in person before the program. It makes for a much better educational experience, not only for them, but also for the students who are on campus, just in terms of you're going to be going abroad, spending all your time for a week and doing group projects with people. It's really important to be there in person if you possibly can. And usually we only make exceptions for people who are, for example, we have an online MBA program and people are all over the world in those programs.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that brings us to the close of our presentation. So thank you so much for joining. The recording usually takes a while to process, but I'll post it sometime tomorrow, so you'll be able to see it on the website. And then once it's posted, I'll email everybody who registered for the session, so you have the recording in your inbox. Then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by our office once the university opens back up. We are located on the 5th floor of Duquesne in room 551. I have my contact information as well on our website, so don't hesitate if you have any questions, if you need more information. So lovely seeing you all, and hope to see you around, and hope to see your applications.